say, man, for those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what this is. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we gonna get to the other stuff in a minute. But first, see, what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So it's of the utmost importance that we catch the right one. But if at any point in this journey you feel yourself become engulfed in darkness, please allow me to be your beacon. And even if you're not that comfortable with me, then allow this knowledge of self that I provided you with to be a beacon in itself. You'll see that you had it in you the whole time. And it's right then that you might realize that you're ready to open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. One time. Yeah. I really don't think there's nobody cooler in the whole cosmos. You looking at it. And maybe I'm just some egotistical jerk. It's all a matter of perception. And the good thing about that is, just because I'm built like that, it don't mean I have to build like that. It's never too late to make a change, baby. You better smile, man. By the time we get done with this, you can consider the shadow integrated. Yes, sir. I am the shadow. You are the shadow. Get your shine on. What it was, y'all. Y'all know who it is. And if not, I ain't gonna tell you right now. But y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight, man. And I hope everybody doing good. I hope everybody vibing. I hope ain't nobody engulfed by darkness. Cause this one right here is interesting, man. This one right here is interesting. We're going to talk about the darkness. Because this right here is a little something about those people that have the Black Moon Lilith in the 3rd house of their natal chart. Yeah, by request. And be careful what you wish for. Because fooling with me, I'm going to give it to you every time. Every single time. And so what I'm going to do first, if you don't know my style, is I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about Lilith. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit of the mythology that comes along with it, a little bit about the energy that comes along with it, and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the 3rd house of the astrological chart, you know, what that's all about. And then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination, which a climax, which fortunately for you is what I do best. It's also my favorite. Mi favorito. So, with no further delay, Lilith. Lilith comes to us as the oldest story ever told. And that's because Lilith was the first woman ever created. Lilith and Adam were created first, equally, by the Creator. Okay, not Adam and Eve, Adam and Lilith. Okay, and Lilith ain't submissive, and she ain't made of Adam. She's made of God, in God's image, as Adam was. Okay, which is important. So if anybody's supposed to think that females or, femininity is supposed to be subservient, you're grossly mistaken. Okay. And when it comes to those two, Adam and Lilith, all was good in the hood. Everything was cool until it came time for them to consummate their relationship, until it came time to get nasty. Because it was at that time that Adam was kind of like, lay down, Lilith, so I may lay on top of you. Well, you see, this ain't Eve and Lilith ain't submissive. And she didn't like the thought of that. And she said, nah, motherfucker, you lay down so I may lay on top of you. And, well, Mr. Adam wasn't having that. So there was a big fight, a great calamity to where the angel of the Lord had to come down and sort things out. And in doing so, he immediately sided with Adam. And as soon as that happened, Lilith felt disrespected. She felt dejected. She felt disrespected. So she dipped out to become many different things in many different mythologies. Some would say that she's, steers babies. Some would say that she's a demon seductress of men. Some would say that she's Satan's consort. Some would say that she's the mother of all demons. But I think that's a whole bunch of rigmarole and hogwash, because really this is just strong, feminine, independent energy. Is sexy? Yeah. Is it manipulative? Damn right. It has to be. It doesn't have brute force to work with. Okay? But is it bad? No. What's bad anyway? What is bad anyway? No. People label things they can't understand or things they can't handle as bad. And thus is the case right here. So back to the story. Well, Adam, he's lonely, he's sad, so he goes back, he's crying, begging. And so what happens then is the Creator then puts him into a stupor, takes one of his ribs and creates Eve, who was made for Adam, of Adam, to be with Adam. It's a whole different creature, whole different manifestation of the energy than Lilith is. Okay? That's something to understand. So when it comes to astrology, in each person's chart, there's kind of this indicator of dark karma, and that's where Lilith comes into play. And like the nose, this is not an actual celestial body. It's more of a certain point or an aberration in this case, in the chart. And it helps to understand where certain provocations, where some temptations, where certain turn-ons, fears, trials really might await a person. It can represent the darker or shadow side of our personality, as well as the type of energy that can really put us in great states of trepidation. And it definitely manifests differently, on how you view the energy. If you view it as something that's negative and bad, then it's going to be something negative and bad. If you're not comfortable with the feminine energy, then it's not going to, come out in the best way in you, because you don't know how to handle it. And if you have the understanding that masculine means male and feminine means female, then you're completely mistaken on that too, because that's not what that means. And you need to gain a better understanding of spirituality if you think that. Okay? Real talk, man. And, another thing to think about is that there's periods when this is going to be strongest, and that's in years of multiples of 9. And I don't mean 1909, 1918, 1927, 1936, 1945, 1954, 1963, 1972. That's not what I mean. What I mean is years of multiples of 9 since your birth. And it's going to start about 5 months before that and 5 months after that. And, it's about that time right there, where people might start having some faithful events happening, or what some might consider a time of reckoning, where you might have to, face the shadow. You know what I'm saying? and, you know, see what's going to happen when you come out the other side. Or nothing could happen at all. Why? Because one, maybe you've already integrated the shadow. Maybe this is something you've already worked on. Two, just because you're built like that, you don't have to build like that. Duh. And plus, I'm not about, you know, predictions. I'm about self-awareness and character development. Okay. So now when we're talking about the third house of the astrological chart, you know, the third house is ruled by Mercury and Gemini, and it symbolizes our thinking and our communication style and writing, short trips and younger siblings, and pretty much, you know, our whole early childhood environment. This is the third house realm, as well as whatever powers of analysis and discrimination that we might possess. You know, planets in this house, really more than anything else, though, they indicate how we communicate and how we operate from a mental plane. Okay. And so when we're taking the black moon Lilith now and placing her in the third house, man, you know, well, the number one thing that comes to mind about people with this placement when I think about this, to be honest, is that, you know, they probably had a really tough childhood. This is somebody who had a really rough childhood. And a lot of it probably had to do with the fact that, you know, they probably had some really challenging relationships going on with their relatives and the people close to them. And, you know, not only that, a lot of the times they had a real hard time, you know, struggling to get their point across, whether it's because they had problems communicating or because nobody ever listened to what they had to say. So it just made them feel some type of way. Cause, you know, I can say with confidence that Lilith here can point to some communication disorders. But on the other hand, you know, it can just be that, you know, a lot of the things that they say just gets misunderstood or gets misconstrued a lot of the time. So it can definitely be a motherfucker, man, for real. But, and really, either way that it plays out, let me say that these right here are independent thinkers. That's what this means, man, who don't really take much at face value at all. And, you know, because they really want to understand everything. And I mean, everything in depth, as well as really just be able to be in control in their perceptions of that and their thoughts and expressions of whatever it is that, you know, they've discovered about what they want to learn about. So that's definitely interesting. And also, you know, don't forget that the third house is a decadent house. So, you know, putting Lilith here, you know, is going to strongly influence these folks' thinking process and their communication style, you know, their mind. So people with a third house Lilith, you know, they're going to have a pretty damn intense inner life, to say the least, man. And, you know, in a lot of cases, a nasty mind. Quite a nasty mind. For real. And even besides that, regardless, though, you know, these individuals are just really, really, really receptive to all the subtle influences around them. And, you know, they're also so quick to notice all the little intricacies that sometimes, you know, other people miss. And it can get to the point where, you know, the mere intensity of their thoughts are going to have them feeling like they're going to go crazy, or, you know, you just go off the deep end, because that brain is always going. It's always going. They overthink everything. And then at the same time, it might not ever can be considered overthinking, because maybe they're on point. It's hard to discern. It's hard to discern with all that, man. And let me also add that, you know, unless Mercury is sorely affected here, man, you know, in their natal chart, hey, a Lilith in the third, you know, they're going to have razor sharp minds. I mean, razor sharp minds, you know, even if they had communication issues early on in life, man, when they were little, you know, when time goes on, as life goes by, hey, these folks right here, they develop some of the most cunning, some of the most witty and mentally, you know, quick brains that there is, man, or communication styles, or whatever you want to call it, man. Hey, they're quick on their toes, man, you know, and they get to a point where they can play dangerous mind games sometimes, you know. Like we say all the time, there's a thin line, razor thin, between genius and insane. And the interesting thing is, Lilith here also indicates a really intense desire to connect with others, as well as, a certain little simmering to the way that these folks communicate. They really intuitively just understand human psychology, which they can really employ, to develop uncanny ability to convince people to do whatever the hell they want to do, or, talk their way out of anything, man. These are smooth operators. I mean, in every essence of the word, that really assert influence in subtle ways. Okay. Hell, sometimes they even use silence. I mean, they're that good as a tool to manipulate motherfuckers, because there can be these unconscious rejections of communication in some cases, in which it's a trip. It's a trip, man. Like, they that cold, man. I've also noticed that these folks right here, they have some of the coldest poker faces in the world, because, a lot of them are masters at hiding their feelings and, and portraying the image of being, or they could be portraying the image of being really, bubbly and overly chatty and super animated, just to disarm folks too, which is tricky as hell too to pinpoint, these people right here, man, like, they're hard to pin down on purpose. And let me say that if you're watching this and you have your Lilith in the 3rd house, and you requested this or whatever it is, man, then I'm telling you now, okay, that, I know damn well that you're an extremely intelligent person that really thinks for themselves, but, you really know it too. Cause I've seen that a lot of y'all get real defensive as hell. I mean, real defensive. I was trying to tiptoe about what I'm saying, but I'm not, man. But y'all be getting real defensive and think somebody's calling you stupid if they're trying to teach you something new. You get what I'm saying? Like, y'all go to tripping, man. Like, man, are you trying to call me stupid? Are you insulting me? When somebody's just trying to teach you or tell you something that you might not have been aware of in the moment, man. And, that ain't what's up. You got to learn to put that pride to the side, man. You ain't got to doubt or question everybody else's motives either, or, kind of throw shade on other people's ideas just for the simple fact that they wasn't yours. Okay. And that ain't what's up. And you can't be lying. Having Lilith in the 3rd house, this indicates somebody who might be doing a whole bunch of lying. You know what I'm saying? And they're skilled at it. They're skilled at weaving a web, man. And that they're not likely to get caught up in that, to be honest, man. And, I've also seen that, people with this Lilith placement, they likely think about things the way they are. And, they really don't want to search for a higher meaning behind it a lot of the time. So, having those deep discussions about the taboo and trauma and abusive things with them is a slippery slope, because they're well aware of it. They know what's going on, but you're probably going to peel back a Band-Aid or pull off a scab on something that you might not have been able to, handle, man, because lastly, a Lilith in the 3rd can also indicate problems in school, because these motherfuckers want to rebel and show their ass, maybe it's because they felt like the black sheep, or, maybe they had problems at home, maybe they didn't have any respect at all for authority figures. That's not something they were taught or something that they just have in them, inherently. Maybe they didn't get along with the other kids, but there is going to be something going on that caused maybe a lot of childhood anxiety, man. Or it could have been because they had a issue with their mother. You're going to have to look at the sign and see what's going on with that, man. And let me also be real, man, and let it be known that if the rest of the chart supports it, having a Lilith in the 3rd house is a huge indicator of childhood abuse, of some degree of form or fashion, man, or maybe this kid having to witness something that really made a mark on their soul for the rest of their life, a dark mark, which ain't fair, man. This could also, you know, play out with, you know, problems with the siblings or, you know, problems with short trips. So, you know, hey, man. And I've seen a lot of people with Lilith in the third house, you know, be having these little car accidents, you know, on their way to work or, you know, going around their little town, man. So be careful. Be careful. And also understand that, you know, what I want y'all to know is that one of the most important lessons of having a third house Lilith is just to accept yourself and learn to express yourself freely, and don't ever fool yourself, even if the truth hurts. Because why? Because just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that, okay? We all have all of this energy, you know, available to us in our chart, man. You know what I'm saying? Get off the illusions and deal with raw truth. That just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. And it ain't really about what you do anyway. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. This been some priceless knowledge of self. I appreciate all the love and support, man. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. If you ain't hit the like button right now and you ain't hit the dislike button, you need to hit that like button, man. Or bump it on down. Y'all keep it trill till next time.